Hey, what's up, guys? Another day, another important topic that we want to talk about today. It's going to be the most dangerous type of relationship to be in, right? And it's not even a real relationship, but it is something that is affecting especially the younger guys. And I'll tell you, it's not marriage, right? Um, you guys, can anyone guess in the chat what type of relationship I'm talking about? The most dangerous one to be in. Yeah. Oh, crap. I had a perfect Zoom and I screwed it up. Is that good? Okay, that's good. There we go. Um, what would be the most dangerous, um, what would be the most dangerous type of relationship for a guy to get in this day and age? Like, what would be something that could ruin a guy's kind of like perception of himself? Um, never get out of like never get out of this kind of like stupor of the of a sense of self, positive masculine identity. Sorry, what would be the worst part of that? Yes, going live myself, do my 40. Oh, hey, close, close. Yeah, but that's like such an outlier that, um, yeah, I would say that is also pretty dangerous. But the most dangerous relationship, guys, is a parasocial relationship, right? And it's dangerous because not because first off, BPD is dangerous once you're in it, but they're just so rare, right? Like the chances are you will never meet a BPD chick. But a parasocial relationship, extremely common. Someone you know, or even yourself, are in a parasocial relationship, and because it is so easy to get into without you even knowing, and so easy for you to be kind of like lie to yourself to say that you're in one, it makes it that more dangerous, right? We're going to talk about what a social relationship is, and how, whether it be with a man or with a woman, how it can just ruin your game and ruin your chances for success with women, happiness, and ultimately a positive sexual identity, right? Um, so yeah. So what is a parasocial relationship? Parasocial relationship, as defined by ChatGPT, is a one-sided psychological connection where an individual feels a bond or an emotional attachment to a public figure, celebrity, or media personality who remains unaware of their existence. These relationships often develop through repeated exposure to person's content, such as TV shows, social media, or videos. While these bonds can provide comfort or inspiration, they lack mutual interaction and can sometimes lead to unrealistic expectations or unhealthy behavior if the individual or identifies with the figure, right? And as you can see in any space, especially masculinity space, there's always going to be fans. There's always going to be guys that are just like, everything you say is amazing, everything you say is awesome. Right. Now, it's saying that it's one-sided. It's saying the definition here is saying that, hey, it's just like you seeing a celebrity walk down the street and you have an altar of them in your apartment or something like that. Uh, the way I see it, right? A parasocial relationship, in the more colloquial, more used terms, is like you having a fake online relationship where the like one person is incredibly invested and the other person is not. And you may think, well, like I don't really do that. I don't have a parasocial relationship. Well, the thing is, a lot of industries, right, like Twitch, OnlyFans, and all that stuff. bank on this. This is their model. Their model is to create the illusion of a relationship, aka a parasocial relationship, by breadcrumbing or feeding the person just enough to keep the fantasy alive that they're actually important in that person's life, right? And it doesn't have to be important like romantically, not even that, just important enough where they remember something about the person. Um, and it's just basically we're monetizing loneliness. A lot of research has been done on loneliness, saying that the most likely people to be lonely and succumb to parasocial relationships are people that are already lonely and looking for something. And there's a lot of opinions on loneliness, right? And uh, just know that we all go through lonely times in our life. That's part of the human experience, right? You don't get to be surrounded by people 24/7. And even if you are, you might still feel lonely, right? So that already makes you very susceptible to parasocial relationships, right? And it's not only like to women, right? To like talking to some girl on OnlyFans or whatever. It could also be like a male content creator, like a red pill content creator, whatever, where you look up to them so much, um, and they could even acknowledge you, like right here, like in a chat or on Twitter, and all of a sudden you feel validated. You feel like, hey, I'm one of the cool kids because this creator announced my name or interacted with me, right? And that creates kind of this fantasy in the lonely person's head that they're important to that person and they matter, and what they stand for matters, and they're on the same team, right? And that ultimately is going to do you so much harm psychologically because it's coddling you as a human being. Right now, this is my take on it, not the psychological um, interpretation of it. It like a lot, most of men's dating problems, right? The ability to get laid, not the ability to get laid with a super hot chick, because that's another level, right? But the ability to even just interface with women is laziness, right? I've always said it's laziness, the inability to like sit down and your logistics, make more money so you can at least go hunting for women. All these things that have to come in place for you to be able to start having a healthy dating life, right? So when you analyze what makes a man lonely, right? There are men that are surrounded, that are successful, that are surrounded by people that are lonely, right? Um, and there are men that have no one around them and are doing just fine, right? Like, it's like, hey, I'm doing fine right now. But realize that loneliness isn't sustainable for a long period of time, right? We are social creatures. And even if we're surrounded by people, we need people that understand us, work with us, cooperate, and, from time to time, love us, put up with their shit and worry about us, text us, hey, I'm worried about you, whatever. So, um, when you are assessing the way you deal with people in life, right? A lot of people, because they don't put in the work of going out to socialize, going out and getting rejected, going out and try to provide value to people in the real world, they tend to funnel into these online relationships where people don't really kind of acknowledge their existence as much as a living, breathing human being, right? And it takes a lot of discipline for you to be able to separate the two, right? That's why touching grass is so important. I have a lot of good online friends, right? But remember, I live here in Dallas and I have needs as a human being, right? And you have needs as a human being. Um, there's there's no boobs online either. There's only pictures of boobs. So all the boobs are in real life. So you have to deal and do things in real life. And if you don't take time out to like really assess and separate the two, it could cause you lots of harm psychologically, and it can make you believe things, or you can commiserate with other guys having the same problem, and then you end up not wanting to leave a group or a collective of people because you feel identified. For example, like the incel guys, right? Like they get together, they commiserate, and they say, "Hey, this is our identity. Our identity is that we cannot have sex. Like we don't have the skill, and we're just too ugly or whatever. We just don't have it." And you may be in that group, and all of a sudden one day a girl will talk to you and then be interested. She might think like, "Hey, I like your shirt." And then it's funny because every guy would get excited. Even me, I'd be, if a girl came up to me and said had a compliment for me, I wouldn't forget it for a long time. The meme where guys don't forget compliments. But now that guy has to make a decision between, hey, I have to leave this group of losers or stay in that group or whatever, right? And that's the thing that happens, guys. Like in order to uh separate and identify your parasocial relationships, think about what's pressuring you to do things. Think about, like, why do I feel guilty for doing things from people that I don't know that well? And online, uh you could feel that pressure a lot. That's normal because we are humans. We want to be accepted, right? We want people to like us and accept our opinion. That's normal, right? But at the same time, your real life is your real life. You don't live online. You can only see the screen. You're not interfacing. However, that's not to say that the people you meet online are not important, right? You can meet an intelligent you can meet an intelligent person online. You can meet mentors. You can meet people with uh that are more experienced, more intelligent than you, right? You can meet people that have written books and you're trying to write a book and they give you pointers. Anything that you need in terms of getting better as a person is probably on the internet, right? However, a lot of guys fool themselves, like the guys that are eternally in the red pill and never move on and never, they just, they're eternally in the rage face. They don't know this, but they themselves, they're not looking to get better. They're not looking to understand women. They're looking for someone else to feel the same way they do, which is normal, right? Like when you first find the red pill, one of the things that takes you aback the most is that there's so many guys going through the same thing you are, meaning that you're not special. And that's good. Guys need to understand over time that their situations are not special. You are not a special snowflake with your problems. Your problems, hundreds of thousands of guys have had the same problem as you, which is good. That means there's a solution because if other guys figured it out, you could too. And that's good. However, um, it's so tempting to just be mad and angry because that's what you're feeling at that moment, and it's addicting. Like I don't want to be happy. I want to be mad. I want to argue. I want people to recognize me and appreciate me and say that I'm smart. And what happens is over time, right? It's just you start spinning the wheels in the mud, right? You're not going anywhere, right? And no matter how much money you make or how much muscles you make or whatever, even how much women you have sex with, you still haven't gone past the, hey, what do I want? Why do I feel like um why do I feel like, hey, um why do why do I feel like I'm not going anywhere and I'm not getting, like, I'm still mad at women. I'm still getting and I'm getting them, but I'm still mad. And the thing is just you've built this persona online about what it is to be a man, what it is this and that, right? And now that you getting the things that you thought you wanted, you start realizing, hey, it's what they wanted, right? And it takes a long time for guys to get to that point. And this is all, men with their parasocial relationships, right? Um, I think parasocial relationships are a spectrum, right? There's guys that are just, you meet a couple guys like you guys in the chat, say, hey, what's up, guys, going on? And then we kind of interact. And then, streams over, streams over. You guys aren't in my DMs asking me like crazy questions or, like glazing me or the opposite or hating me, right? You guys are just like, yeah, understand. We have a conversation, get the hell out, and move on, right? And if you guys have an extra question, comment to YouTube and I always say, hey, you guys can DM me directly and, whatever. It's not like a big deal, right? But then there are people that have parasocial relationships and that's it, right? And when people attack me for example, I have like my salsa videos, right? I'm dancing with women and I'm having a good time. And I do a quick 360 scan of the area because I want part of being a content creator is you got to show your humanity a lot because especially in this niche, your humanity gets questioned a lot because there's a lot of it's very sociopathic, or the perception is that it's very sociopathic to discuss women, red pill, and all that stuff. So you need to show, hey, I'm just a regular dude. I got a dog. I'm kind of a dork. I like nerdy hobbies and I dance. Like I'm a human, right? One of the reasons I do that is I just want to show guys like, hey, the work is out here. It's out on the dance floor. It's out at the rock climbing clubs you go to. Like Godspeed goes to rock climbing clubs now, right? It's out on the street while you're walking a dog and you see a pretty girl, right? It's out when your girlfriend's breaking up with you. Like the real world situation is gonna what makes you better, right? And you can see this a lot in the disparity between understanding of women in discussions online on Twitter, right? Because you say, like, there could be a 25-year-old guy that gets it, right? Like he said, hey, my girlfriend broke up with me, right? And he had his rage face, a year, 6 months, whatever. And he said, I don't like women, blah, 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 right? And it's funny, right? Because a lot of guys will say that, but guys, you have a sex drive, right? And it's not going away. Unless you chemically castrate yourself, your sex drive is not going away, and you're always going to want to have sex with women until you're probably like 70, and even then, who knows? Um, but uh, those are the battles are their battles are won out there. So when I show this part of myself, like an intimate, like, hey, this is what I do, right? You're gonna get attacked by people who have strong parasocial relationships online, negative or positive, right? Like there's people that hate you and they want you to be like they want to dunk on you and they want to hate you, they want to follow you, they comment on everything. Like I had a guy comment like on a sock that was on the ground in one of my pictures where I was like, hey, I'm going out, this is the what I'm wearing, right? And that post was like 3 weeks ago and he was commenting it. Now that's a parasocial relationship. That guy thinks that I owe him some kind of attention or acknowledgement, and it may be negative, right? And it doesn't matter what you say, guys. You could say, hey, you're right, and it's not enough. You could say, hey, you're wrong, not enough. You can block them, and it's even worse, right? So basically, there's people that thrive on this, and I can see no other reason that they themselves are not in the arena, the man in the arena, right? And that's the biggest difference here, guys. The man in the arena versus the guy that has parasocial relationships online, right? Someone important comes in on a space, they start glazing the person, saying they're awesome. They won this debate, they won that debate, and they're awesome, they're right, and all that stuff. But um, but the truth is here, right? Sorry, the truth is that no matter how much someone debates, no matter how big their following is or small their following is, no matter how handsome or ugly, no matter who they're dating or anything like that, right? You are alone. You are a lonely person, whether you're a creator or the guy that consumes the creator's content, right? Some of you might be very lonely right now, right? And that's okay. Like that's a part of life. I spent a lot of time lonely and all that, right? So you guys are basically at risk for a lot of stuff, right? And part of building a positive masculine identity, right, is understanding what am I up against and how do I deal with it? Not, hey, let's talk about things in the abstract. Like, hey, women shouldn't be in the military. I'm like, great. It doesn't matter what I think, right? How does this help me? How do I move? How do I move from, hey, I am in the military and my friends are getting in trouble with women. How do I stay safe from that? Right? Because you are in the arena. But it's sad that guys that are in the arena that have so much going for themselves, instead of going to a content creator or reading a book or anything for the answer that they need, they develop a parasocial relationship with that content creator instead, right? And there's nothing wrong with like liking somebody, wanting to interact with them online. Obviously, you guys, everyone has the right to do that, right? But the thing is, why you have a problem to solve? You're a man. Men are problem solvers, right? You are in a situation where you need an answer for someone more experienced, not better than you, not even smarter than you, more experienced that has figured it out, right? So when you go tackle a problem, you're more well equipped, right? And there's different versions of this, right? It is not only red pill, it could be anything, right? And I always like how silly it sounds, but I always like show how silly it sounds by this analogy, right? Imagine you are trying to fix your dishwasher. Like my dishwasher crapped out, I had to learn how to fix it. Like took it apart and all that stuff. Going online, let's say I'm going live and I'm teaching you guys this is how to fix a dishwasher. Here are the concepts. Here are the things you don't do, you do, and this is the tool I use, but you could use a different tool. You don't have to, but this is what worked for me, right? And during that live stream, while I'm showing you how to fix the dishwasher, hold on one second, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Uh, during that live stream where I'm teaching you guys how to, and not teaching, but sharing notes, right? Teaching implies authority, right? Just, hey, I'm showing you what I did to fix my dishwasher. If you guys don't think it's good, if there's someone more intelligent, go to them, whatever. Um, it's it's like a guy coming in the chat and saying, um, "Hey, we should uh, we should talk about what dishwasher is better, so you're not in this situation in the first place." I'm like, "No, I'm here to fix my dishwasher. Are you here to fix your dishwasher? Then move on, right? I'm not your friend." Um, it's like going into a guy's chat that's trying to teach you how to fish or do anything and asking for that guy's friendship, attention, time, energy, right? Same thing. Learn how to do calculus. And you're in the chat saying, "Hey, um, those derivatives are cool and all, and integrals are cool and all, but you know, what's up? What you doing?" And it's just like it's a misuse of the internet, right? There's a time and place for everything. But realize, guys, that parasocial relationships are really it's like I have a hard time understanding them myself. I had to do research and all that because we all have some level of like relationships online, right? We're human beings again. But when I see like especially younger men, like the Zoomer generation, the way they kind of like look up and attach themselves to what they consume or who they consume, um, it's like one of the defining things about Gen Z is how much they they blur the lines between internet and what's in real life, right? And I guess for millennials, right, since we grew up without the internet, our whole lives, right? Like Zoomers had the internet since they were like babies. Um, we understand a world like I understand a world of dating without dating apps. That's, like when I was 18, there was no dating apps. There was no Facebook yet. It was just coming out. So I understand like a lot of old school kind of thinking towards women and picking up women, right? I understand the concepts, I understand where I screwed up as a kid. Um, but and I also think it's a little weird that people really care that much about people online. And Cappy gets on me for this all the time, but it's so strange that like you could be a guy with a very important job, right? Like say, give me an important job. Let's say you're an IT manager, right? And you have to maintain a server room for a very important company or hospital or whatever. And you have to make sure that those servers are running so people can do transactions, people can store data, pull up hospital data, all that. So very, very important job, right? If things go down, they call you. And imagine that person going online and because some other person is controversial or is good at playing Roblox or something like that, they add the same value or the same type of value to the world as that IT manager that ensures that people can get treated at the hospital, like pulls up data so they can get treated at the hospital or something like that, right? And this is like trying to go with my industry because I understand it well, but um, that's what always weirded me out, right? So that's why when I'm talking here, I don't uh, when I'm talking here, I don't pretend to know everything about everything. I'm like, hey, these are the notes I traded, right? You guys can be much smarter than me. You guys can be doing much more things better than me than I could, right? Who knows? But the point is, when you're dealing with your relationships online, right? You are a vulnerable person, especially as a man, especially if you're a lonely man. And most men are lonely, right? A lot of industries, take me seriously, guys, a lot of industries bank on your loneliness to last as long as possible, right? If you're running a rotation of girls, a lot of people don't get paid, right? If you're running a rotation of girls, do you care what Sneeko says or whatever content creator? Do you care what OnlyFans? Do you care about dudes? A girl banging 100 dudes? Do you care? You're. It's like that famous line from the game in that one song. It's like, I got beef with 50, beef with Ye, but what's beef when you're getting head in the sixth tray, right? One blood by the game. It's basically saying like one of the things you'll notice as like you get better at dating, you kind of rise above the miasma of complainers and I can't do it and I'm an incel for life and women suck, whatever. Like you actually, you may not get the hottest girls, but you're getting something. You're getting female sexual compliance and all that stuff, which is rare these days. Um, you're going to start not giving a fuck about a lot of stuff, right? You stop worrying about abstract concepts. Women should, men should, you don't care, right? Because the thing is, you're in the jungle. And it's people forget that while we discuss abstractions and have parasocial relationships online, dating is laws of the jungle. As long as it's within the confines of the legal system, sometimes based on what gender you are, right? You are subject to the laws of the jungle, right? And guess who gets berated the most and gets talked down to the most and disagreed with the most online? The guys that say, hey, these are the laws of the jungle. Those are the guys that get like shit on the most and have to be, you know, kind of like that's why a lot of the red pill guys we get a lot of shit from like like conservatives and the science bros and all those asshats that hypergamy is not real. It's mate switching hypothesis. Or hey, that's not how you talk to women. You got to give them flowers, right? But we're in the jungle, right? We don't have time for these abstractions. We don't have time to discuss like what's a bet like who what should women do. We don't got time, dude. You got a full-time job. You have kids, maybe. You have friends, family. You have a dog. You have other things going on. Who gives a fuck what women should do? What do they respond to, right? You have your sexual needs, and it's getting harder every day to meet them. I understand that. So yes, it is fun describing having parasocial relationships online, right? It is fun describing things in the abstract, right? And arguing, having little debates, and I win, whatever, yay. But remember, are you there because you're lonely? Are you discussing? Are you yelling at guys like me, guys like other people? Um, are you solving your problems? That's what matters, and that's the important thing here. Now, you may say, well, like, they have things to add to the table in terms of like thinking and rationality, right? But is the red pill about being right? Has the red pill ever been about being right? No. It's about what works, right? And that's what people hate. I don't need to be right. If I say, let's say if I say this if I say, "Hey, this is a corgi," and you're like, "No, it's a Shiba Inu," and I'm like, "No, it's a corgi," and me saying it's a corgi gets me laid, gets me paid, makes me happy, then in my world, it's a corgi, right? It's like Ryan Sode's second book. Like, we're not trying to show you what to think. Those are the debate bros. Those are the conservative cons or whatever. Those are the science bros. They want to tell you what to think, right? We're simply saying how should you like how to think, how, not what, how. So one way of thinking is, hey, um, for example, a mental model. She's not yours, it's just your turn, right? That's not a what to think. That's like how to think. You may be thinking like that's lame to think like that. I'm like, well, are women property? No. If they leave, is there any repercussions? Not really. Um, do you want to be with a woman that doesn't want to be with you? No. What is it called when a woman is forced to be with somebody and sleep with somebody that they're not in love with or they don't want to sleep with? Exactly, the R word, right? So do you want those outcomes? And you see how we're changing not what to think, but how to think. We're thinking, hey, take your ego out of it. You're not some important guy that every woman that falls in love with you has to be with you forever. They get to choose, and we talk about women's agency where they themselves have brains and get to choose what they want in their own life, right? And this altogether is going to help you, right? It's going to help you. It's useful, right? Because it may be painful at first, but also it's a very realistic and beautiful way to see relationships, right? Because now you know that your girlfriend, wife, or whoever can leave whenever they want, but they still chose you today. And tomorrow they get to choose again. And they may choose you again tomorrow, and so on and so forth. And that's a beautiful way to think, right? Instead of being this doom and gloom, why can't I get a perfect outcome? And another reason why parasocial relationships are dangerous is that they start promising naive people, lonely people outcomes. Whether it be the OnlyFans girl, the conservative grifter, the debate channel bro, they're all promise you an outcome, right? Give me more money and I will make life better than you for you, right? I will affect change in your life without you doing anything, right? So if I'm a debate bro and I'm debating OnlyFans chicks, and the understanding is that we need to support this guy because he's setting women straight. Is that a good way to think? Are women sticking the landing? They will. All of them will. They'll figure it out. All it does is feed into your revenge fantasy. Is that healthy? Is that important? Is that going to get you anywhere with women, with anything? Why not focus on yourself? Forget about what women do with their vaginas and get yours and be selfish, right? The OnlyFans girls, you guys pay money to pretend to have a relationship with them, right? And they promise intimacy, emotional intimacy, sexual intimacy. I don't even know if you can count it like that by with showing pics, right? But do you get it? Like, is that even comparable to like a girl saying, "Hey, you're kind of cute"? Like, not. There's not. It's there's nothing. There's no amount of money you can pay to negotiate a woman's desire, right? You cannot negotiate genuine desire, and that's what those guys are. Same thing, right? Just like how a man pays for an OnlyFans chicks to give him fake desire, a lot of guys pay other in their parasocial relationships to fake something else, right? So we shit on guys that pay for OnlyFans, right? Somehow there's so many of them, we shit on them. But what about guys that pay um, or give money to people that say like, "Hey, men should do this," or "Men got to step up and be better men." It's the same thing. It's essentially the same thing, right? It's, "Hey, I want to feel validated, and he has. If I give him money, he'll validate me in my worldview." Which is stupid to begin with because who gives a fuck about what they think about your masculinity, right? That is the most anti-masculine, unmasculine, whatever you said, thing that you could say is I gotta pay someone to teach me about masculinity. Now, you can do whatever you want with your money. It is what it is. But ultimately, look at it like this. Masculinity is a very abstract kind of like container word. Who the fuck knows what that means at this point? Right? I know that I have 2 testicles, a penis, and I got a much higher testosterone than the average one, right? Biologically speaking. I know that. On a biological level, I know what a man is, right? And you guys too. But what does it mean beyond that? Does it mean sacrifice? Does it mean not sacrifice? Does it mean having kids? Does it mean not having? Who the fuck knows? No one knows, right? There is no, obviously we have tendencies like guys like violence. We play violent video games, watch sports. That's pretty, you know, it's pretty common. But who the fuck knows what masculinity is? Who knows? What is it? So how about this? Figure out what you want first as a guy. Nothing will distance you from knowing what you want than a parasocial relationship online. Nothing. That is the number one thing that will trick you into wanting what another man wants. Right? It is the number one thing. For years, I've met guys that told me, "Hey, I used to follow this group of people or this person, and I thought I wanted what they wanted, or I thought I wanted to be like them, or all that stuff." And then it comes out that they're something completely different, right? I try my best, right? I know it's probably futile at this point, but I try my best to present myself like, "Hey, yes, I've slept with hot chicks, but that is for the average guy, that's not an everyday thing, right? I don't have a yacht, I don't have supercars, right? I took my own balls and I went out there and I talked to women. And I failed, I got rejected a lot. You know, I got great successes, things that like, no men can't even fathom. I've slept with mid women, chubby women, but that's life. That's normal life. Like now that's a controversial thing to say. Like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, when a guy slept with an ugly chick, we just make fun of him for 5 minutes and we move on. Who cares? Right? Now it's like something you should be embarrassed about. I'm like, embarrassed about what, dude? We're not women. Doesn't matter. You're still you. You're still whatever you are at your company, manager, whatever at your company. You're still who you are, you know? So that's a female worry, right? Um, but yeah, a parasocial relationship will distance you so much from what you want to know about yourself, right? It's a buffer. It's a buffer against failure. Because why try myself when I can see someone else succeed at what I'm trying to do? And it's taking over the world. You're on your own when it comes to women. There's no one there. No one's gonna when you sit down in front of a woman, it's not like SpongeBob where Patrick had a walkie-talkie link with SpongeBob for his driver test. There's nothing. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing no one else can do for you. You are alone. And that's the most beautiful part of dealing with women, right? It's like it's you. You eat what you kill, right? So if you get with the hot chick, the whole world's gonna say, "Hey, you got lucky." But no, you didn't get lucky, dude. You did the front work and you position yourself correctly. There is no luck, right? It's just being the right guy at the right time and being ready when the opportunity comes, right? The charm, the good cologne, the, social status wherever you're at. All those things take time and effort. And if you let people kind of define what success is for you, what you want for you, you're going to be miserable, right? And there's going to be a rug pull. There's always a rug pull, right? You only get one life to live. If you're constantly thinking about what would this content creator think or say, it's gonna ruin your life. You have better things. What do you want? And that's hard for guys because it's scary. I've seen guys that pretend to be like these masculine guys, and I'm like, hey, dude, you did this. What do you want? Do you know? They never ask themselves that question. So it's like, okay, well, how do you figure out what you want? Well, in terms of what? This is a dating channel, so in terms of women, go out, go date. All types of women, all backgrounds, as long as you're attracted to them, right? And they're attracted to you. Um, Try it out. It's not gonna hurt you. No one cares, right? And that's the opposite of a parasocial relationship. No one cares. Don't you want no one to care? It's the fucking greatest thing ever. Call your mom right now and hey mom, I'm going on a date. She won't care. She'll be like, "Are you okay? Did you eat today?" She doesn't care. Your boss just cares that you get to work on time and you produce, right? Your mother and your father want you just to be safe, and maybe they want a grandchildren eventually down the line. Uh, you know, your dog just wants to get fed and wants to play. So it's like, what's all this care? You know where the care comes from? Your fucking stupid parasocial relationships online, letting down some entity you don't even know, some group of people you don't even know, and then you feeling guilty years later because you're like, man, I just wish I would have done this or dated this type of girl, right? You may like girls with tattoos that are crazy. I know Rob from Rob Says does. and that's what he wants. That's what he does. Right? That's his thing. So, yeah. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll get back and we'll do the super chat. So let's take a quick break. All right. So we got some super chats. No link with the 199. Um, let's see. What can I give a 199 super chat? Where? Oh, okay. StreamYard changed. They changed where the media assets are. That's weird. You get one of these, sir. You get a generational. No link for the 199. Glad you took the white girl pill. Man, we're all taking the white girl pill. There's nothing left. No link with the 499. We're putting money down for your debate. We'll give you some proceedings since you're not an Asian girl. What does that mean? Debate what? What would I debate? What is there to debate? That's like this is literally what I'm talking about right now. What do I get out of a debate? This is why I say like I charge people when they ask me, "Hey, would you debate me?" It's because I get nothing out of it. Nothing. Why would I purposefully do that? What do I get out of it? Sweeten the deal. Give me money. Give me lots of money. But thank you for the 499. Appreciate it. Thank you, Julian, for the gifted Kaleo membership. Fresh Princess Zamunda, you get one of these, sir. Oh crap! They moved everything around. You get one of these. Fresh Princess Zamunda for the 499 for the stories. Yeah, if I think I set a goal of like 5 super chats, and I'll tell a story of a parasocial relationship that I have. Hey, Alex Patino, you get one of these, sir. Thank you. You get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend.
Alex Patino for the $25. Regalo de Navidad, Feliz Navidad y próspero año nuevo. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You are a very nice person, and Merry Christmas to you and your family. I will enjoy the holidays. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Any more super chats? But yeah, thank you, Alex. That was very nice of you. Let's move on. So yeah, uh, what are ways that parasocial relationships damage you, right? There are 5 ways. It's emotional overinvestment, unrealistic expectations, boundary issues, obsessive behavior, and exploitation. Right. So let's talk about the first one, emotional overinvestment. So basically, um, the fans that a person has could be uh, fans may overly depend on these relationships for emotional support, neglecting real world connections. Right. Now, before we get into this list, sorry, I'm a little bit out of order. Right. Um, Parasocial relationships, besides the one you see online with creators, there's also like women, right? So, how do you fall into a parasocial relationship with a woman like on Instagram, like a woman that you've met, a woman that you know, and all that? Well, it's pretty easy, right? For example, guys don't understand IOIs. So, for example, the other day I was talking about on a stream how There have been times where I go out for salsa or something, and a girl gives me the F me eyes, like the come talk to me eyes, right? Guys that are experienced will understand, and they're just like this, they're sipping their drink, and they're looking at you with the puppy dog eyes, like, come on, make a move, stupid. Um, and guys take that as an IOI, and you kind of should, like, what's gonna happen if she says no, right? Not a big deal. However, it's not something you should take too seriously. It doesn't mean that she wants to sleep with you. It doesn't mean that she's like super into you. It just means, hey, you caught my eye. It's step one. It's not, don't get too entitled because a woman shows you an indicator of interest, right? But however, look into it. It should raise an eyebrow a little bit. Um, One of the biggest mistake IOIs that are guys mistake for is like anything on Instagram, like a liking of the story, a fire emoji that a girl puts under your stuff. Is that a real IOI? Not really, no, right? Why? Because there's a lot of buffers there. There is no real interaction. That's basically a parasocial relationship, right? Women do this. They love keeping and stringing men along. They like the attention. They love establishing parasocial relationships. That is the normal standard female MO, right? Is establishing parasocial relationships with guys. And the thing is, why I say it's so easy to fall into these is because guys believe that they have a chance. And there's only one fucking way to really stop this behavior and keep safe from this strategy, this female strategy of getting more followers, more attention, and just the satisfaction that they can just string you along. And that's basically a fuck yes or no strategy. Like every time a woman reaches out on social media, right? I don't care if you've never slept with her or you slept with her 100 times and she's coming back into your life. Always present early a plans for meeting up, right? Like emoji, right? You say your lines, say, hey, whatever, and then say, hey, drinks, and see, if she says no or gives you an excuse, she's not interested. She likes the idea of attention. She doesn't really want to see you or have anything to do with you. She just wants the ego boost of knowing that she could get you back, on addicted to her validation or whatever you call it. Right, and that is a form of parasocial relationships that guys fall. They'll be, girls make fun of it all the time. Like, hey, the guy that's talking to himself in the DM, right? And they make fun of it all the time. These type of men, right? And then men are entitled to women because, oh, she looked at me or she liked my story. It doesn't mean anything, right? Um, Basically, she's not she doesn't really you don't know, like, most likely she doesn't really care. She just, like, wants to see if you respond, right? And that's why you gotta have your guard up, and that's why you gotta move from messaging to a date as fast as possible. And that will defeat, being funneled into a parasocial relationship with a girl. I know guys that have been messaging women for months or for weeks without a date. And I'm like, you are in a parasocial relationship. She doesn't care. You care. She's invested. But sorry, you're invested, she's not, right? And it sucks, right? Because you, in your mind, your male ego, you want to believe that she's into you. You want to believe that she's fighting to make time for you to see you. But the thing is, again, if she wanted to, she would, right? Pretty easy. It's a fuck yes or a no. It's a fuck yes or a no. That's it. Simple. There is no, but she said this, but hey, there have been women that I've been with that for months and then they disappear, right? They, move on, happens. And then they come back and then it's just smile emoji, smile fire emoji, smile emoji under my pics. And then I say, hey, let's do this. And they're like, I can't. I have this excuse. And they ask them one more time. I can't. I'm like, no. She doesn't want to hook up with you anymore, dude. I don't care if you did in the past. It doesn't mean anything, right? She only cares about the attention and validation. And the medium is a message. If she doesn't want to see you in person, then it doesn't matter what she says, right? Um, she doesn't care. She cares about her ego and wanting to feel good about herself. So going back to this list of 5 things, right? Um, we have emotional overinvestment, right? That was the first thing. And it's basically fans may overly depend on these relationships for emotional support, neglecting real world connections. Right. So in the paradigm of uh online creators, guys that you guys follow, content creators, red pill, whatever, um, you may be asking yourself, why is it that I care so much about who this person sleeps with? Why is it that I care so much about who they have beef with or all that stuff? And that's just, dude, you're over invested. That's all it is. You don't really care, right? You don't care. They're not humans don't work that way, right? You care about your mom as you should. You care about your dad, your brother, your dog, your exes. Hell, you care about your ex-girlfriend more than you care about people online. You're just overly invested, right? And that's a symptom of parasocial relationships, right? You're neglecting the real world connections because the real world connections have standards. They have standards for you, right? The OnlyFans girl, it doesn't matter what you show up of. If you give her $5 a month, she'll say, "Hey, handsome," right? The girl at salsa night or the rock climbing club or at the run club or down the street, she has requirements of you as a guy. She needs you to approach her correctly. She needs you to not smell bad. She needs you to be in a good, playful mood. Those are fucking requirements that men have, that women have for us as men. It's not that crazy. It's not yachts and boats. It's just basic minimum stuff that most guys can't barely meet, right? But that scares guys. They hate the fact, and women hate this too, that the opposite gender has requirements at, from everything from first approach to marriage, children, and all that stuff. And both genders are fucking saying no. Now, do men have a little bit worse? Yeah, of course, because the divorce laws and all that stuff, and women have a lot of power sexually, right now. But same thing with women. That's why I say, hey, if you wanted to be in a relationship, you would. The thing is that you don't like male expectations, right? Like a guy with leverage is terrifying to women, right? It's sexy, but it's also terrifying because you can get replaced. If you act crazy or dumb or silly, you're gone. The guy can replace you, right? And that's scary for a lot of women. So right now, um, that's one of the reasons guys get into parasocial relationships because hey, I can follow awesome red pill guy 12745, and he doesn't need me to be awesome or be in shape. He doesn't know who I am. I'm just gonna live through him. Look at him get bitches. Look at him win this debate. So the fuck what, dude? Look at yourself. You guys don't really care about each other. They're trying to share a message, right? Have all the right to. And you have all the right to listen to them. But remember, you're using it as a buffer against your own failures. And that's what a parasocial relationship is. It's just a buffer, right? Why fix things with your dad or your mom or anyone when you have a red pill dad saying that you're awesome for following him, right? Why would you do that? Um why would you give a shit about what mom and dad say if my internet daddy says I'm awesome, right? So yeah, we got Viking Paradigm. Thank you, sir. You get one of the. Let's give you one of the.
Thank you so much, best friend!
Viking Paradigm, famous Drakkar, $2. Really good topic and really good points. Thank you, sir. I know I should have done 2 episodes. This is like really, I'm gonna like wear myself out. Like I should have made this two-parter or something, but I'm trying my best to make it concise. But thank you. It is a very important topic, right? Um, so assess, right? Assess yourself. Why am I following this person, right? Do I think they're funny and entertaining? Sure, that's nothing wrong with that. I follow a lot of funny people online. Or hey, do I follow them because they have a perfect relationship in life and I don't want to put the work to fix mine, right? So yeah, emotional overinvestment, unrealistic expectations. That's the second one. Believing that the relationship is mutual can lead to disappointment and confusion, right? So, um, you may think, hey, I'm really cool with this person, and they know me, that they saw me at an anime convention, or we hung out in real life once, and they're my homie. We're here because I broke that wall, right? But then you're like your friends that you see every day that count on you, that love you, you're just like, "Nah, they're not so important. They're not clouded like my friends online." I'm like, "Dude, are you serious?" These are the people that will save your life if they need to, the people that'll bail you out of jail, the people that will be at your bedside in case you get sick, and you place them below people on the internet that you met 1 or twice, right? Like, I love Cappy. Cappy's great, right? But my priority is my brother and my family, my friends over him because my family and my friends are in my life. Cappy is just an interloper in my life. He's in town and then he's not in town, right? And that's the thing, like, it's what you prioritize. Um, a parasocial relationship is distances you from people in your real life, right? Distances you from women because why try? Other guys are having a hard time. Why should I try? I'm with my people. You'll get disappointed if you have parasocial relationships with women and with men too. Anybody. So uh, if you're DMing a girl on Instagram that's liking your pictures every other week, and it gets pretty bad, guys. Some women will will send you nudes. And some women will send you dirty memes and stuff like that. Like, I wish I could be on top of you, writing you. This is how I would write you, like stuff like crazy stuff like that. And if you're a naive guy that, you're gonna fall for, you're gonna be like, whoa, well, at least go do it. Then you're gonna send dick pics back to a girl that doesn't even want to see your dick, right? And it just you look bad or something, right? So it creates unrealistic expectations. So you have to be very like thoughtful here. Like what are women's incentives, right? What are people's incentives? A woman's incentive in this case is to get you to react and be in her frame. Like, look, I got this guy. I just showed him a titty and he's already slobbering all over my profile pics or my Instagram. And that's why it's a common shit test. When a girl sends you something dirty, you just say, "Hey, why is your room so dirty in the back?" Right? Or say something like, "Hey," or ignore it, or say, "Hey, I didn't," like, "What is this? Doctor examination? Chill out." Like something like that, right? Because you're explaining to her, "I'm not here for a parasocial relationship like your other simps are. I'm here to meet you." Right? I appreciate, your body's hot, but like, I'm here to meet you. And then if things go well on your terms, we will have sex. And you have to be careful. Right? Yeah, or your left one's bigger. Yeah, anything like that. Shauna, oh, what's up, Shauna? How you doing? Funny you mentioned that this one girl always likes my IG stories. I really, if ever talk to her, unless I nag her, she responds. Yeah, just be careful. Yeah, just be careful. You know. What inspired this topic? Just over the last year, um, I've been kind of looking at my relationships with, or like my followers and other people's followers and how they see the internet. And I just recently kind of felt that when I'm out dealing with real people in the real world, I feel much better than people on the internet kind of like looking at me as some kind of guru or expert on anything, right? Um, and I realized like, so why is that? Why is it that I feel better when I'm like getting rejected by a woman in public or um having a girlfriend and her disagreeing with me and my awesome masculinity and wanting to talk something out, or uh disappointing a family member or disappointing my father? Why do I feel like so alive when I do that, but when I'm online and guys are just like, wow, bro, you dunked on this girl, which is really fun, right? I'm not, um why is that? Why is it that the real world is just the pain, the ups and downs, the sadness, the triumphs, right? And I realize it's because um I'm in it. There's an episode of South Park, right? Where I think what's his name? Butters gets really sad, and the emo is like, I think he's like, he tries to be emo, right? They're making fun of emo people of in that episode, and they're like, "Hey, Butters, why aren't you like emo or like giving up on life or something?" And Butters says, South Park is always profound for some reason, out of nowhere for some reason. Butters tells the goth people, "Hey, I'm crying." I think he got his heart broken. That's what it was. I'm crying, but I'm also happy because I'm alive. I'm in the shit. I'm the man in the arena. I'm experiencing life as it was meant to be. I am helping people, but I'm also letting people down, right? I'm feeling anger at real world problems. Um, I'm making people proud, but I'm also disappointing people. All this stuff, and it's real, and it hurts, and it's real, and it's also feels good. So it's like you're alive. A lot of people aren't alive because they rely on parasocial relationships online for their combat, right? For their anger, for their triumphs, right? And if you're doing that, you're at risk. You're very at risk. You should really think about that because it's you need to be you need to live. Like I just can't imagine combat, internet combat doing anything more than just being a fun little 20-minute back and forth or pastime, right? Um, I can promise you right now, you can win a debate against the biggest account in this space. But learning one line of Moonlight Sonata and getting it down, there is nothing in the world that can compare to that. Nothing. Um, Getting a PR, just putting 2.5 more plates on 2.5 plates on a deadlift PR and lifting that, nothing on the internet can compare to that. That's real, right? Absolutely real. So, yeah. Yeah, you remember that episode. It's very interesting. Dark Knight Dev, what's up, sir? You get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend!
Dark Knight Dev with the $10. Now more than ever, women don't need Charlie Kirk masculine doctrine, but Nuke's ability to get redhead mids to crash out. Women want fun. Let the husband give security. Your job is to be arousing. Yeah, don't worry about it, right? Women come online for a reason, right? Yes, they want to be heard. Yes, they want attention, but also they're bored. Women are bored. The real life doesn't cut it. And that's the great thing about being a man. Our real life can cut it for us, right? And the more responsibility we get, the less we feel inclined to go on social media, right? I'm sure if one day I become like manager of my company or I move to a different company where I'm managing like 3 data centers, I don't think it's going to become less appealing for me to go online and screenshot redhead libertarian, even though it's fucking hilarious that I do it. But yeah. Um so thank you, Dark Knight Dev, for the $10. I appreciate it. And yes, I think the goal is reached now. So we can I'll talk about that here soon. Let me just get through these points and then we'll wrap up for the night. You guys got things to do. But yes, I appreciate all the super chats from all you guys. Okay, so point 3 is boundary issues. Fans may invade creators' privacy, blurring the lines between public and private life, right? So I've been recognized a couple times, like twice, 3 times in the last year here on my own street because I don't really, stay kind of a homebody this year. Um, and it's scary, right? Luckily, if you live in my neighborhood, you more than likely have your head screwed on right. So I was just walking my dog one day, and this guy says my name online. I froze. I'm like, shit. It's a scary feeling. But then I look back, and it's just this regular dude smoking a cigarette outside of one of the apartments. Talk to him for like, and now I see him all the time. Awesome, chill dude. He's like, hey man, we gotta have a beer. I'm like, hey dude, just hit me up on Instagram and we can have a beer and talk and all that stuff, right? Um, and that was the end of it. I have another one where it's like my friend saw me somebody saw me walk into my Chipotle across the street, and they were like, message me on Instagram like, hey, yo, is that you? I saw you crossing the street to eat Chipotle, to get your Chipotle. I live in the same building you do. Right? I'm like, holy shit. Like that was kind of scary. But at first I'm like, hey, if he lives in this building, that just means that, losers and weirdos can't really live here. It's like you have to be, the rent's more expensive and it's a smaller apartment building, so everyone kind of knows each other. So we met up at the pool. He's my friend now. He's just a good friend of mine now. Right. And then a third person met me. I'm not going to tell you too much details. Guy's a wealthy investment banker. He likes my content. Took me out to lunch and just we talked for a little bit. He recognized me as I was walking down the street with my dog as well. Um, but I'm a man. I got lucky. None of those guys were. They were all just normal dudes, pretty chill dudes, right? But boundary enforcement is something. Our boundary issues is very it's a thing that creators and women that lead on men have to deal with all the time, right? So, for example, if you're a girl that keeps leading on men, like you keep giving them fire emojis, you keep showing sharing thirst traps and getting men to comment, and then you reply to them, right? And one day you have plans and you go, I'm going to this club, and then that guy shows up, right? That happens. You're posting your whole life on social media, and then that guy shows up. And whose fault is it? I mean, we can blame the women but there's no accountability there, right? Just like for a lot of male content creators, there's no accountability. They do whatever they want all the time, and because there is a screen and thousands of miles of distance between the person, they can't take responsibility for what other people say or do. They'll say whatever for clout or money, whatever. So this leads to common boundary issues, right? Where like I've been out with Hannah and guys approach, right? And depending on the day, we're just like, hey, today I don't like nobody, like, you know, and there are days when it's like, whatever, we're cool. It's public space. There's bouncers all around. Like, we're good. So boundary enforcement and boundary issues is a very important thing that you can also succumb to, right? Because how many guys, especially guys that are not good with women, violate these boundaries because they don't understand that they're in a parasocial relationship and not a real one, right? Like the friend zoning thing, where hey, there's this girl that I had, she might have feelings for me, and then one day I made a move, and she was like, "Oh my god!" And then sexual harassment charge and all that stuff, right? Happens like Justin Baldoni just had this issue with Blake Lively, right? Um, you could be that guy if you don't understand, hey, what type of relationship you are in with a woman, right? And trust me, it can get confusing, right? Women love leading men on. They love it. So it's like you have to be careful. So yeah. All right. So guys, we have 3,944 people in here. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna screenshot this. There we go. A silly face. Oh no, not that. Screenshot this. Sorry, hold on. Crap, stupid thing doesn't work. There we go. All right, we're about to get to 4,000 live viewers, so I appreciate it, guys. Um, anyways, moving on to the next one. Talked about boundary enforcement. Obsessive behavior. Intense parasocial attachments can escalate to stalking, unhealthy fixation. Right. So, other day, I was in a space, and this guy was, everything I said. He was like, "I disagree. I hate you. I hate you. Disagree." I get it. It's Twitter, right? You can't get mad. Um, But, he started mentioning, like, describing my room from a post that I posted about my room 3 weeks ago, right? And that's obsessive behavior. That's when I start getting worried. People that dig through your stuff and content to find, contradictions or things you said, that's also addictive behavior, or sorry, obsessive behavior. And, um, this usually happens to a lot of guys when they have contact or deal with a very, very attractive woman, and they feel like they have a chance. And because of their lack of abundance mentality, right? they feel, and they're beta programming. They feel that they have to apply pressure to a girl, and they just end up looking stupid, right? Like the guy who plays the voice of Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies, Shamik, I forgot his last name. He just got called weird by a girl who he was in love with, right? And it's because of that obsessive behavior, right? The guy's a movie star. The guy could get lots of women, but he failed to get one, and he got called weird, and he deleted his X and Instagram accounts, right? And he basically had a parasocial relationship with her. One way relationship. And he's a fucking celebrity. And not only that, he's the lead voice of a movie, right? So is it really that, hey, if you just get status, it's like what the kids say on Twitter, like money doesn't unlame you, right? So all of us are susceptible to parasocial relationships. All of us, me, you, no matter the biggest alpha guy in the chat, we're all susceptible to this. So don't think it could never happen to you. Obviously, we have mental models to prevent all of that, right? You can't like brute force yourself into being not a victim of this stuff because there's a biology here at play, right? I already described that earlier in the show. We can only have mental models, right? Like for example, fuck yes or no, meaning like, are we going on a date or no? Shit or get off the pot. Are we going on a date? Yes. All right. Meet you here. No. Don't talk to me. Right. Then we have abundance mentality. Like, hey, sleep around until you understand that you will always have your sexual needs met. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but in the near future, some girl is going to be like, I like that guy, and you'll be good to go. Right. All these things help you stay away from falling and being funneled into the parasocial relationship. Remember again, a lot of industries, a lot of social media platforms make money based on parasocial relationships. And you are the target. You are the pay pig for those. And you need to be careful, right? Because with all the ego we have as men, we still fall and we still succumb. You know, there could be a female account you talk to a lot, right? On X, like just a chill thing, right? And I've seen guys that follow me, you know, know all the things about being a player and red pill stuff, and then I see him constantly writing simpy comments under a girl's post, right? And I'm telling you, the guy that's banging her doesn't even know she has Twitter, right? Look at Sydney Sweeney. Look at all those guys that have parasocial relationships with her. And redhead libertarian, right? All I said was all women are catfish. The question is to what degree. Sydney Sweeney saw my tweet. She didn't see any of those guys' tweets supporting her or defending her. None. She saw one guy. I mean, there was other guys, right? But she saw mine was probably the most viral, and she saw it. Literally, she told Complex Magazine, "I saw it," and all I did was treat her like a human. I said, "You're not perfect," and it wasn't even directed towards her. I just used her as an example, right? Same thing with redhead libertarian. They all go to their armies of betas, all of them, right? And then you wonder how sometimes it's like why men bitch and complain so much, right? It's because it's like, dude, you don't see it, do you? Like, you're defending women online that you don't know, that don't care about you, wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire. And you're taking that mindset to the real world, right? Do you think a guy that's like worshiping a female celebrity or female political commentator or female whatever, do you think that guy in real life gets female attention and all of a sudden is able to discern the difference between I want to meet this guy and I'm just trying to get his attention? No, they don't have the experience for that. I'm the very abomination that they hate because I do have that ability based on my experience. And they hate that, right? I know when a girl's bullshitting me. You know why? Not because I'm psychic, not because I'm awesome, because I just simply say, "Hey, are you free for drinks?" Tuesday, no, you're not interested. Have a nice day. That's it. I don't care how hot she is. There are girls that have been perfect, literally everything I wanted, and they said no. And I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't care how hot she is and how the world is like, you gotta try harder. If she wanted to, she would. If she wanted to, she would. Fuck yes or no. That's it. Nothing else. Uh exploitation. So influencers may manipulate fans for financial personal gain. So yeah, I mean this one's a little gray because like, I've been told, hey, here's a $7 a month Substack. Um and that's like exploiting someone, like $7, right? But like they go to McDonald's and they order something at McDonald's that are like that's even more expensive than that. Is McDonald's exploiting them? No, they're an adult. So what does exploiting really mean? Is it monetary? So if I like buy a if I join the war room or something like that and I pay $100 a month for it or however it costs, am I being exploited? Because I made the choice. And that's like I don't know the answer to that. Are fitness influencers exploiting guys that don't know anything about fitness by selling them products, magic miracle products like, hey, if you take this testosterone booster, you'll grow hair on your chest and be more masculine or whatever. Are they scammers and grifters? Like it's very iffy, it's very gray. Right? If you're a guy in a relationship and you're in a sexless marriage and you get with a OnlyFans girl, not get with her, but like, subscribe to one and at least get that intimacy you need from an OnlyFans girl, right? Um, and you just don't want to leave your family because you want to wait till your kids go to college, and this is holding you over until the 2 years left until they go to college, and you can get a divorce and all that, right? Um, is that guy being exploited? Who the fuck knows? Like, there's no real, because what if you do take that testosterone booster and it's like a placebo effect, and you just see one hair grow on your chest, and you're like, hell yeah, and you try harder and you work harder because the results seem real. What if you sign up for the OnlyFans girl and you have someone to talk to and you don't yell at your wife that day in front of the kids because you told some OnlyFans chick your problems and she's like, thanks daddy, that'll be $100, and you're like, okay, sure, I just wanted someone to hear my problems, which is what a lot of sex workers report, right? um what if signing up to a masculinity course gets you in contact with someone cool or someone that knows something about that, like, hey, carpentry, or like, hey, I'm trying to fix my motorcycle. Oh, I know about motorcycles. People decide the value of what they're putting in, right? uh they get to decide what's important to them in what they pay for, what they subscribe, and what uh influencers or whatever. However, there is a component which is like lack of experience and age, right? And knowing so well the weaknesses and the thumb screws of the people you are talking to, interacting with. And an example of this is, again, the Instagram messaging, the messaging where women say, give you heart emojis and say, wow, you're so handsome. Like, it's because they know you so well as a man and what you respond to. Remember, women are getting experience from men, or like understand men since they're 12, right? So that means that they're way ahead of you in terms of understanding the other gender and what they want, what they get manipulated by. So is it fair to say, and this is an open question for you guys, right? Is it fair to say that um there are certain types of people that if you market and sell to them or give them hope for something or whatever, that that is exploitation? I don't know, right? If a politician or political commentator is saying, make America healthy again, right? And some guy that's buff and in the gym is like, finally, women are gonna start losing weight because I don't have I'm tired of dating women that don't care about their appearance, like care their weight or their fitness, right? Are you selling that? Is it whose fault is it? If you invest into the Haktua coin, right, and you get rug pulled, whose fault is it? It's a tough moral conundrum, right? Um, so be careful, guys. You have you have responsibility. I would say me, it's the the viewer, the guy. Like, if you are messaging a girl on Instagram and you don't know that you're in a parasocial relationship yet, and she keeps saying, "Oh, I just can't today. How about tomorrow? Or how about this week?" And then she does that for 3 weeks, right? And you really think she's gonna say yes at some point. Is it your fault or the girl's fault? She knows what she's doing, right? And this ultimately brings us to the ultimate question here, right? And that is the morality question, the laws of the jungle. There is no morality in dating, right? None, none, zero. Everyone's in it for themselves at first. So when you pair that with the dangers of parasocial relationships that I've said, now you can do the most important thing. Now you can do the most important thing or learn the most important thing. Combine two things together and you will be rock solid in terms of your dating and at least protecting yourself from being exploited by women in the dating market in parasocial relationships online with women and content creators, whoever, right? And that is, if you combine these two, there is no morality. And hey, I can get exploited if I'm not careful. You're like ahead of like 99% of men, right? Guys with giant channels still trying to appeal to the morality of women. Imagine that, guys. Channeling a woman that's not fucking you, that doesn't know who you are, that doesn't care about you, that she should stop fucking for the good of America. The one behind club, as one would call it. Um, yeah. Uh, so eventually you have to combine these two, right? Because you may think, well, women should be better. Hawk to a girl shouldn't have done that. The Tate shouldn't have sold that course. Nuke shouldn't have said this or done this or posted this. He's exploiting us, right? He's not with the hottest chick in the world, a supermodel. He rug pulled us. Whatever content creator, anyone, anywhere, whether they're a force for good or a force for bad, if you're saying those things, you have a parasocial relationship with that person or identity or entity, whatever you call it, group of people, right? You are fucked, right? You are fucked. You're looking at this from the wrong angle. Asking Hak to a girl to atone for her sins, right, is admitting I have a parasocial relationship with her or in people like her because I think I can appeal to her emotions. Like, she's a real person that cares about your input. You can do that with your people in your real life, right? Because they're invested. It's a two-way street. Parasocial relationships are a one fucking way street. That's it. There is no like, let me appeal, right? People can come in Twitter spaces and yell at me all day. All day. They can be like, you're a degenerate, right? But, when I was single, if a hot chick would hit me up, I'm not going to be like, man, the Twitter space guys really showed me today and said my morality is wrong. Let me tell this girl that I don't want to suck on her titties tonight, that I'm changing because the guys on the internet told me so. See how stupid that sounds? That's how guys sound when they try to yell at OnlyFans girls and other women and all that stuff. But you may say, "Hey, Nuke, but you do the same thing, right?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't. I don't appeal to morality. You know what I appeal to? Comedy. It's hilarious when you know so much about human behavior and you know people's thumb screw, right? It becomes fun. You know exactly what to say to fuck with them, right? Because I'm not appealing to their morality. I'm appealing to their insecurity. I'm appealing to their reputation, things that people care more about than morality and doing the right thing is themselves, their appearance, their reputation. But I digress, right? Um, so yeah, marry those concepts. Marry them, marry them, marry them. There is no morality in dating, and parasocial relationships are real, and they're after you, and they want you to subscribe, right? It's dangerous, right? Because you guys can comment after the show, whether something good or positive, and I'll respond. And you'll think like, that new guy sucks or that new guy's amazing. And I'm like, I am neither. You don't fucking know me. Whether you're my biggest fan or my biggest hater, you don't fucking know me. You don't. You don't even you wouldn't want to meet me. You would find me boring. From the guys that have met me, obviously they, have good interactions, but um assume that I'm boring. Assume that I'm like that boring professor that you're like, yeah, but he's so smart and he's gonna help me pass this exam, right? Um, I'm not here to establish friendships. They happen naturally, right? There's a lot of good people online, but it's really depressing to see people in parasocial relationships. It's really depressing to see them develop these one-way streets emotionally with people. And I do this too. Like now that we've reached um now that we've reached I reached where I am at in life in my social media career. I can say sit here in front of you guys and say, "Hey, I myself have given people enough rope to hang themselves in terms of parasocial relationships." You guys may think it's righteous, right? It's like someone like George Bruno is yelling at me online, right? Just literally having a mental breakdown. And I go on his stream, which I did, and I say, "Hey, Bruno, like, first off, I'm like, I had to ask people, hey, I know who this guy is, but what happened? Like, is he mentally well? Did he have like, did he have a death in the family? Is he like spiraling out? Is he on drugs? Like I gotta ask questions because I don't want to be that guy to like, right? But everyone's like, no, we don't know. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I go into a stream and I start saying like, hey, dude, what's up? Did I bang your mom? Did Jack bang your mom or something? What's going on? I'm doing the bad thing there because it's like that girl that likes the stories. She's giving you enough rope so you can latch on to stay on that parasocial relationship. He was in a parasocial relationship with me because I don't know who he is, nor do I care. Like I know I've heard his name and I've seen him on my Instagram, but I could give a rat's ass what he has to say, right? But there he is. That's a parasocial relationship, and I fomented that. Now I said before, I'm not a really moral person, right? I'm just a regular dude. I think it's hilarious, right? But there he is, and I'm giving him enough, right? Uh, just like for example, the Michaela situation, right? Where Michaela uh kept arguing with me and saying these mean things and quote tweeting me and all that stuff, right? And I'm like, I feel like I have this girl in the palm of my hand because she blocks me, unblocks me, all this stuff, right? And having talked to her before she went kind of like off the deep end, she seemed like a normal person, right? And you got to understand some people, sometimes women, right, will use online conversations with men and all that stuff, just like men do, to kind of like stave off the failures in their own life with dating, right? So instead of meeting a guy local in your city, you're following this guy that pretends to be awesome, which sometimes I do pretend to be awesome, I guess. I don't know whatever. But I've had to tell some people, right? Because as you get more followers, women want to DM you, and either they want to fucking waste your time, or just ask you questions and or denigrate you because like, hey, fuck you and your red pill content. You have to tell, like I've had to tell several women, hey, this is not real. You don't even know if you like me. You just see a follower count. This is not, like you probably walk by me on the sidewalk and be like, okay, whatever, right? And that's that parasocial relationship. And as a guy, sometimes you're getting female attention online. It's hard to say no, but you got to realize eventually, hey, this person is in a parasocial relationship with you. You have to like let them go, right? You have to. It doesn't matter if you're mean to them or nice to them. You have to let them go, right? Because again, men and women, we're both very susceptible to parasocial relationships. It it's so weird that like even if you don't even know it because your ego won't admit it to you, but it's just like right there. It's just hey, and I've had to explain to even publicly. You've seen guys seen on the timeline. I've said, hey, so and so, you're 33, you're a hot gal, you're in shape, you're probably intelligent too. Why are you here? Why are you here discussing things with broken-hearted, muscular red pill men on the online? Right? Alicia Biddle, why are you comparing me side by side to your husband? Your husband, and not only that, a picture of your husband and your kids, right? The man of your dreams, the man you love, you've given your whole life, your virginity to, which she described on the timeline, right? Me in a silly Luffy costume, smiling, looking like an idiot, sweaty, right? All crusty looking. Why are you doing that? What do I have to do to get you away from the special parasocial relationship where you just hate on me and you create these conspiracies about me and my personal life, right? What do I have to do? And the thing is there's nothing much because it's so enthralling to have parasocial relationships and we want to avoid that as much as we can. It makes you look stupid, you know? And they hurt sometimes, right? Because we really think for a second, hey, if this person accepts me, um, I'm cool. I'm one of the cool kids, right? But are you fucking in real life? Are you getting women? Right? Are you fixing issues with your parents? Is your wife good to you? Is she happy? Right? Are you running away from problems and using the internet and the relationships on the internet to make up for your failures in your own life? You don't owe anyone that answer but yourself. You don't have to go on the internet and be like, I suck. Because I don't give a fuck if you say that. But however, you need to ask yourself that and be like, hey, you know, maybe that conversation I've had with that girl online for like 2 months, maybe that's not real. Maybe that's the one preventing. Maybe things like that are preventing me to like from having talking to women in real life. You know, and that's literally psychologically speaking, that's literally what parasocial relationships do, right? And we don't want that. So yeah, let me get these super chats. Where did I leave off? Oh, Todd M. Thank you, sir. Which one would you like? Let's give you a crash out.
Whoa! Bro, shit.
All right. I should try to make that shorter or something. But yeah, crash outs are always fun. Todd M with the $10, who's also a member. Thank you, sir. Dog, you are cooking tonight. I gotta tip the chef. Awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, I'm just ranting. I'm just ranting, getting stuff off my chest. Um, but yeah, let's check the chat. What does the chat have to say? LOL. Can neither confirm or deny. You just had to ask him if I banged his mom. Yeah, but couldn't help myself. It's just that like first, so the way we did it in the Navy, right, is when someone is having like a mental breakdown or a really bad day, we ignore it. We're just like, yeah, it happens. Everyone has their day. So like they're banging their fists on the table or they're punching a wall, right? We're just like, whatever. He's having a bad day. He'll get over it. But if it keeps going, then you're just like, okay, what's up, bro? Like, what's going on? You start asking questions, but not to the person, because you want to approach that person sensibly, right? Like, hey, if someone's having a mental breakdown, it's for a reason. So you're like, you go to like, hey, what happened? Oh, he just got yelled at by so and so, by the chief or petty officer or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been through that. Yeah, it happens. It'll go away after a day or two. So you understand, right? But I wanted to know, like, so in that situation, I want to know, hey, dude, like, okay, that's not normal. That's not a normal reaction for a human being. You know, is he mentally well? Does anyone know? Is he Is he going through like a really tough time in his life? Stuff like that, right? Because then at least you can understand and be like, hey, life happens. But I got nothing. So I'm just like, okay, well, did I say something? Like, did I like and I no one told me either. And I'm like, okay, well, this dude's just a dick. He's just an asshole. So this is how we deal with assholes. We make fun of them for being emotionally out of control. And I'm good at what I do with messing with people online sometimes. And I was just like, hey, dude, like, I need you to explain to me what's going on and all that. And he kept responding to me. And he kept responding. He kept responding. I'm like, okay, he's invested. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then after that, I'm like, okay, can't really trust everyone. Hey, what's up, man? What's going on? What's going on? Uh, but yeah, um, it's the most dangerous relationship, guys. It's really pathetic. We don't even know. Like, it's scary. People will follow you for years, and you can follow people for years. Women online, people, anyone that don't want anything to do with you. Nothing. Don't ever want to meet you. Don't want to talk to you. Don't want to hear your problems. Nothing. Um, and also, it's kind of healthy for creators and women not to give a shit either, right? Because what if women responded to every man that responds to them? That wouldn't be good. What if I responded to every DM or every tweet under mine, right? I'd go crazy too. There has to be that level of separation. And I have to remind guys implicitly and explicitly, hey, I'm not that special, you know? I made a lot of mistakes in my life. Not a lot, actually not a lot, because I am, I don't do a lot of dumb shit. I do dumb shit from time to time, but um I'm not that special, right? And I have to constantly remind people of my humanity because the screen effect. I tell stories that remind people of their humanity, right? I see Zoomers discussing uh everything as if people on a screen are just like these mythical creatures that we should look up to because they have a following. It's gotten to the point where they discuss who they jerk off to publicly with their faces online and profile picture because simply because this person is has a lot of followers and has a nice ass and shoves object inside of themselves for money and clout, right? And they mythologize these people. And I'm like, you know, I met one of them in my gym. She didn't look anything like her content. Nothing. She looked like a normal girl. And she was working hard in the gym, right? Um, I've met a lot of people. I met Cappy in real life. I've met Governor in real life. Um, I've met Glenn Lawrence, Thor, all these people, humans. We're all humans, normal, flawed. We fuck up. We say the wrong thing. Um, I've done a lot of shit for trying to show my humanity online, whether it be my silly dog, whether it be like, hey, here's a chick that's not that attractive that I really fell for or something. They're like, wow, Nick, I thought you only got with models or you ain't getting no bitches. I'm like, dude, in the real world, in real life, you as a man are gonna come across women that just you'll fall for, and that's it. There is no like criteria. I don't need to check in with the internet for what I want in a woman, right? And that's my preference. If you're a man that needs a woman to look like a model or very hot, go for it, dude. But I never needed that, right? To me, it just hot women just fall in your lap, right? I don't. And the hot women I've dealt with have been very crazy or kind of chaotic, So I was just like, okay, cool. I'm a human being, right? I'm not some mythical creature, and the women I follow and I've dealt with are also not mythical creatures. The porn star I saw in my LA Fitness was not a mythical creature. The guys I beef with do think I'm a mythical creature because they need me to be. They need me to be the end of the red pill. They need me to be um, the worst thing that happened to the red pill or the best thing or whatever they think, because they have that need. They need to make me out to be more than I am. And the truth is I'm not. I'm not nobody, right? If you met me again, you'd be bored. You'd be like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm regular. I got a job, girlfriend, dog, pay my bills." Obviously, I do crazy stuff sometimes in my life, and I've done in the past, but my day to day isn't anything special. So think about like this, guys. One of the biggest crimes you can do to people online is humanizing them, right? When I said Sydney Sweeney is not perfect, right? That she lies about her appearance. I mean, she has to, right? Because she's an actress. Um, when redheaded libertarian lies about her appearance, right? When these women get surgeries, when these women get professional makeup artists, when these women get their photos doctored, right, by professionals sometimes, when these women find the perfect angles, right, when these porn stars go on set and they show you their meat flaps from the perfect angle, and they show you their titty meat from the perfect angle, and you guys start dating, right, and you start seeing women not showing up like their pictures, maybe 1 point below, right? When you admit that women have an incentive to lie to you about how they look online and to the world, and that incentive is they get a lot out of being pretty and they have to compete, all you're doing is humanizing them. It's compassionate. It's saying, hey, you are subject to this pressure. It's literally in my dating thread from 2 years ago. You are subject to an immense dating pressure, and that is being pretty, being attractive. If I say to myself, you're perfect no matter what, that's dehumanizing women. That's making them seem like they're an object, a diamond or whatever. But when I look at women and say, you're full of shit, and all women are full of shit when it comes to their appearance online. But hey, guess what? If you show up on a date and you're pleasant and, we're having a good time, those extra 15 pounds you brought along with you that I didn't know you had are gonna go away. So in other words, you're humanizing someone by putting expectations on them besides their looks, right? Women hate that because they don't understand really. Like, hey, you are lying about your looks. All women are. You all are catfishes to some, in the colloquial sense, right? To some degree. Some of you look like almost exactly like your pictures. Some of you is like, holy shit, who are you? I don't even know who you are when they show up on a date. But if you really look at it and say, hey, I'm about to go on this date. This girl looks hot. I'm gonna assume she's 1 point lower than her what she shows herself online to be. And when she shows up, you're like, yeah, I was right. Yeah, she's kind of mid. She's more mid than in her pictures. But guess what? Um, she has a cute little dress on. She put in effort. Look at it. She put on makeup, right? She gave me a nice tight hug. She's sweet. She's opening up to me, you know? She bought me a shot. She got the second round. And that's life. That's taking parasociality, I think, if that's a word, out of dating, out of discourse, out of masculinity gurus, and bringing it to home, which is Mother Earth, to Earth, and using it for good, using it to understand women, using it to not to forgive them, but to understand why they lie, the pressures they're under. And that's only going to do one thing, guys, and one thing only, and that's improve your game. Having this understanding and almost compassion for women is going to just make you better with women. Your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your sister, the women that online that hate you, the women online that love you, that send you nudes, the women that say, you're in trouble. I hope your account gets taken down forever. They're gonna be the same to you. Just women subject to their own pressures in life. And that level of mastery, guys, is insanely peaceful. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, women can do whatever, right? But you'll be like, women are women, and that's it. Who cares about my ego? Who cares about what I want them to be? It's about what they are, and I'm glad that they are the way they are. Not everything is convenient about women. If you want everything about women to be convenient, then you're just saying I have no game to the world, that I have no experience, right? Don't wish women were nicer or easier. Wish you were better, right? Just like everything else in life. And you're gonna have bad times where you really lose hope, and that's normal. We're humans. We lose hope. That's part of the reality of being human, right? Is that we lose hope, right? But we always regain it. We can bitch about the country all day, but you know, you still go live life and you're happy. And you don't move to another country because you still have hope, right? So basically, guys, that's it. Um, that's my rant for this. Longer. Sorry to keep you guys here if you guys are still here, but that's basically it. Essentially, assess your activity online. Make sure that even when you talk to me, are you talking to me like a person, like a human behind the screen, or are you talking to me like an evil entity that like Aku from Samurai Jack or something, or Goku, or some mythical entity that I women, and more importantly, women. Are you looking at women as these like monoliths of these? They know everything or they know nothing. Either way, you're dehumanizing them, right? Are you treating them like insecure people, just like everyone else? And that's who they show themselves online isn't real. There's no reason to have a parasocial relationship with the woman. And also, are you saying, hey, I'm a man, I get lonely sometimes, I lose connections with people, with family, people I love, and I can get exploited. And I need to understand that, hey, it's not weakness to understand your weaknesses, right? It's strength, because now you can do something about them. You can be like, hey, um, I'm going through a lonely part of my life, especially this week, right? A lot of people are lonely this week. Um, or hey, I haven't been late in a while. Why is it the OnlyFans girl is starting to get more, you know, more? Why does it sound like a better idea now that I'm not getting late? That way you can understand yourself. You can be like, okay, what did I get here? Why am I feeling susceptible to this? And that's it, guys. Just understanding ourselves and understanding women from a rational standpoint. But thanks, guys, and thank you guys for the super chats and the insight in the chat. Thank you, mods, for modding the chat and everything. Crazy year, right? Crazy year. Nothing's changed. Still me. Still gonna dump everything I know onto the dating scene. Sorry, onto my content. I'm not here uh, to waste your time. Right? Literally says it on my Substack. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm not here to win arguments, win debates. Um, I'm here to share what I know. If it's wrong and stupid, then you guys can leave. If it helps you, sure, you know. But we're gonna make it, guys. If you keep trying and being the man in the arena, we're all gonna make it. We're all gonna be happy, and we're all gonna be sad. It's ups and downs, but mostly you're gonna be alive. And there's no quicker death than relying off parasocial relationships for any kind of validation of your human existence. So, have a good night, guys. Thank you.